You don't always feel it clearly. Sometimes in the reflection, when you look at yourself longer than usual. Sometimes in a moment of silence, when no one is watching, and suddenly it becomes frightening. There is a woman inside you whom you keep silent about. Not because she is weak, but because she is too strong, too free, too sensual, too inconvenient for this world. She doesn't ask for permission. She doesn't play by the rules. She isn't afraid to say no. She doesn't apologize for who she is. She destroys illusions, and that's precisely why you are afraid to become her. Carl Jung asserted, "Every woman has her shadow." This is not evil, nor darkness in the usual sense. It is suppressed power. The true self that has been hiding under masks for years. This shadow is not an enemy. This is the woman you repressed to be comfortable, to be good, to be acceptable. But she has not disappeared. And today you will feel her closer. You will learn who you could be, if not for fear. What is hidden within you, beneath layers of upbringing, expectations, and the role of the good girl. Because it is in the one you fear becoming that your true freedom is hidden. She appears suddenly, sometimes in dreams, sometimes in words you are afraid to say, in those moments when you want to scream but smile, when you want to leave but stay, when you want to say enough, yes, but instead say everything is fine. She is your shadow. Jung wrote, "The shadow is what you don't want to be, but already are. It's those parts of you that you've suppressed to survive in a world where a girl must be convenient, pleasant, and controlled. Since childhood, you were taught to suppress. Don't be angry. Don't be envious. Don't be too loud. Don't be too sexual. Don't be too smart. Don't be too alive. Don't be yourself." And you complied. You became the one who is loved, who is approved of, who can be brought home to mother, who never asks too many questions, who always smiles. But somewhere inside, the other, the real one remains. She hasn't disappeared. She has just gone into the shadows. This woman is dangerous, but not because she is evil, but because she is alive. She isn't afraid to feel, isn't afraid to desire, isn't afraid to destroy. She will not tolerate lies. She won't conform. She won't be silent when humiliated. She won't apologize for her strength. You fear her. Because being her means breaking the script. It means saying no, where you always said yes. It means leaving a relationship based only on a fear of loneliness. It means putting yourself above others' expectations. It means being bad in someone's eyes, to finally be yourself. And this is where the internal conflict begins. On one side, you are the familiar, quiet, controlling one. On the other, she is chaotic, passionate, uncompromising. You feel her knocking from within, in moments of anger, in moments of desire, in moments when you can't be silent anymore. And you lock her up again, afraid that if you let her out, you'll lose everything. But is that true? Jung said, "We don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light. We become it by making the darkness conscious. This shadow will not destroy you. It will destroy what is not you. All the false roles and masks you wore to be accepted. All the attitudes that stifle you. All the relationships where you aren't you. Your shadow is not a curse. It is a treasure. It is the power you forgot. It is your sexuality you were ashamed of. It is your aggression you concealed. It is your wisdom that was silenced. It's your body that you were taught to hate. It's your wildness, your magic, your independence. But to regain it, you need to take a risk. You need to admit you are afraid. Afraid of being uncontrollable. Afraid of being rejected. Afraid of ruining relationships. A career. The image of the perfect woman. afraid of becoming the one who doesn't play by the rules. But maybe she is the one you always dreamed of being. Sometimes the shadow doesn't manifest directly. It comes through envy. You look at a woman who speaks loudly and condemn her, at one who freely expresses her sexuality and reject her, at one who chooses herself. We call her selfish. But maybe you envy not her, but the you that you recognize in her. Every woman you judge may be the one you are afraid of becoming. And there's no guilt in that. There's only the opportunity to stop and ask why she touches you so. What in her do you not allow yourself? The shadow is not your enemy. It's your way home, not to societal norms, but to your personal truth. It's not destruction. It is the birth of the new you, whole, authentic, alive. But the question remains, are you ready to open the door? Are you ready to meet the one inside? The one you hid for so many years? And if you are, what will she say to you first? There is a type of woman with whom men lose control. The strong feel weak, the confident become uncertain. Because she doesn't need, she chooses. She doesn't beg, she doesn't prove, she doesn't play. Be with me. She knows her worth. That's why she is feared by both men and other women. But more than anyone, she fears herself. You feel it inside you. Isn't it true you could have been her? You are her. But all your life, you were told that being like this is dangerous, that if you shine too brightly, you'll be hated. If too sexual, you'll be judged. Too smart, you'll be rejected. Too strong, you'll be alone. And you learned to restrain yourself. You became quieter, softer, safer, more convenient, good. And what did you get in return? Women who choose to be good often pay the highest price. They lose themselves. They live lives they didn't choose. They smile when they want to cry. They agree when everything inside screams, no. They support, they give, they sacrifice. And then, at some point, they break quietly, without a scream, just disappear inside themselves. And that's when she rises from the depths, the woman who cannot be controlled. She is the one who will speak the truth, even if everyone turns away. Who will leave, even if begged to stay. Who will laugh loudly. Who will dance as she wants, make love not out of duty but desire. Who will not apologize for her body, her age, her dreams. She lives by different rules, or none at all. She can be a mother and still feel like a witch, can be in love and still free, can be caring and still fierce, can be quiet and still inconvenient. Jung called such women the archetype of the great mother in her dark aspect, not the one who sacrifices herself, but the one who creates and destroys. She not only lives, she creates. She not only loves, she transforms. She not only exists, she awakens others. You fear becoming such because it feels irreversible. If you once allow yourself to truly be yourself, you won't be able to return, won't be able to pretend again, won't be able to do what you should. But maybe that's the path. Maybe you're not suffering from a lack of love, but from constantly suppressing the one who could receive it. Maybe you can't find your man, because with you is always the one who is afraid to be inconvenient, bright, alive. Maybe you don't need to be good anymore. Maybe it's time to remember how to be yourself, because every woman has her wild nature. She isn't cruel, she's honest, not mean, just tired of pretending. She doesn't destroy, she cleanses. This woman is your key to the body, to passion, to strength, to voice, to dreams you were afraid to even articulate. She doesn't promise it will be easy, but she promises it will be real. And when you allow yourself to become her, the whole world around you will start to change. You'll stop agreeing to less. You'll stop being silent. You'll stop being someone who can merely be loved. You'll become the one who is respected, who is admired, who is considered, who cannot be held, because she chooses where to be herself. But for this to happen, you must let her out of the shadow, not to fight her, not to fear her, but to meet her, listen, accept, ask what you want, and listen to the answer. You were the good girl. You listened, helped, smiled, even when it was painful, didn't scream when hurt, endured, adapted, kept everything inside because you were taught that way, because otherwise isn't possible. First for the love of parents, then to please teachers, then for the boys to notice, then for a man to stay, then for children to feel safe. And so all your life, a role absorbed with milk, a scenario in which you learned every line. And now you don't even notice when you say, everything is fine, when inside there's devastation, when you smile, when you want to disappear. But you want the truth. This good girl has long been tired. She doesn't live. She survives. She doesn't rejoice. She pretends. She doesn't choose. She submits. And every time you force yourself to be who you don't want to be, she dies a little inside. Jung called this persona, a mask we wear for the world, a mask created so we're accepted, so we're not rejected, that we are safe. But a mask you wear too long becomes your face. You forget who you are without it. You confuse kindness with convenience, mercy with self-denial, humility with suppression, love with sacrifice. And this is how easy it is to lose yourself, because everyone around praises you for it. How good you are, how strong, how patient. Yet no one asks if you want to be this way. And deep inside, in the very heart, anger begins to grow. Quiet, forbidden, shameful. You don't show it. You fear being called hysterical. Fear that you won't be loved. Fear you'll destroy what little you have. But the anger doesn't go away. It turns into fatigue, into anxiety, into illness, into depression, into a feeling that life is passing you by. This anger isn't your enemy. It's the voice of the one you ignored for so long. The real one who wants freedom, who wants choice, who wants to breathe. The one who can no longer simply be good. You feel the rift between your outer image and inner world, between how you act and what you truly want, between how you look and who you really are. This is a crisis, but not a personal failure, but a moment of awakening. Perhaps you are on the brink, not because everything is bad, but because everything is fake. And if you don't allow yourself to be real, you'll lose not your relationships, your status, or respect. You'll lose yourself. Being good is a trap because it doesn't save you from pain. It just quiets it. It doesn't give you strength. It just takes your energy to maintain the illusion. It doesn't make you loved. It makes you invisible. And at some point, you realize everyone loves you except yourself. Carl Jung said, "You won't become whole until you accept your shadow." And a shadow of the good girl is a woman who refuses to be convenient anymore. She can be kind, but not naive, soft, but with boundaries, strong, but not for show. She can cry, but not for manipulation. She can get angry, but not destroy. She can leave not because she doesn't love, but because she chooses herself. You don't have to be perfect. You have the right to be alive. And if someone leaves when you start being yourself, then that person loved not you, but your role. But before you let go of the role, you must meet it. Sit in front of the mirror and honestly tell yourself, "I'm tired of being good. I want to be real." And let it be scary. Let it be painful. Let it be unstable. But this will be the first step towards yourself. You have long run away from her, the one who whispered in your ear when you went to bed in tears, the one silent when you agreed to less, the one who screamed inside when you said, "Everything is fine." You felt her. but didn't want to see her because in her gaze was danger. The danger of disrupting your whole familiar life. She wasn't convenient. She wasn't kind. She wasn't well-mannered. She was real, so real it scared you, and you chose to hide her, not let her speak, not let her breathe. You decided to be good because it was safer. But how many years can you run from yourself? At some point, you start to tire. Not just physically, but deeply emotionally, spiritually. Fatigue from constant tension, from masks, from the fear of being different. It is precisely in this fatigue that the first acceptance comes, not as an act of strength, but as a gesture of desperation. You can no longer fight. And for the first time, you look her in the eye, and suddenly you see, she's not a monster. She is you, only forgotten, only suppressed, only tired of loneliness. This woman you ran from doesn't want to destroy you. She wants to bring you back to yourself. Jung wrote that the shadow doesn't disappear. The more we suppress it, the stronger it becomes. It turns into obsessions, fears, self-sabotage, destructive relationships. But if we turn towards it, it becomes a source of strength, because in it is energy, in it is passion, in it is a voice, in it is instinct. Everything you gave up to be acceptable. Meeting the shadow is not an easy path. It's not a romantic story of self-discovery. It's hard, honest, and sometimes painful work. You look at what you hid for years. Your envy, your greed, your rage, your sexuality, your destructive impulses, all that you were told is forbidden. But the deeper you go, the more you understand. This is not evil. This is you, not perfect, but alive. You suddenly remember what you were before you became good. A little girl who laughed loudly, got angry if she was hurt, stood her ground, felt her body, felt her desires, felt her truth. And you realize you didn't lose her. She was just waiting for you to stop being afraid. You start saying what you swallowed before. Begin leaving places that are bad for you. Start crying if it hurts, laughing if joyful, shouting if angry, desiring if you want. Not out of rebellion, not to spite, but because you can't do otherwise anymore. And do you know what happens? The world begins to change. People who didn't hear you start listening. Those who used you leave, and those who truly love you stay. Not because you've conformed again, but because you are genuine. You start choosing not out of fear, but from an internal yes or no. You reject the role of the victim. You reclaim your body, your voice, your taste for life. You are no longer ashamed, no longer apologizing, no longer explaining. And this gives you strength you've never felt before. At first, it will be scary. There will be withdrawal, a feeling that everything is collapsing. But then comes peace, not emptiness, but inner confidence. You feel the woman you feared standing on her feet inside you, and now she is with you, not instead of you, but with you. You don't lose yourself. You finally become yourself. And do you know what the most surprising part is? The woman you feared becoming isn't a destroyer. She is your freedom. She is your maturity. She is you when you stop pleasing, hiding, being silent. She is you living truthfully, not by script. She is no longer your enemy. She is your path. She is your strength. She is you. What happens when a woman stops fearing her power? When she not just meets her shadow, but chooses to live in peace with it? When she no longer hides, doesn't ask, doesn't agree to less? When she stops being good and becomes alive? There is no revolution, there is silence. But not external, internal. The one you didn't even know you could feel. This isn't euphoria, not a happiness that screams. It's a quiet that speaks in silence. I am, and I need not prove anything. A woman who allows herself to be herself isn't necessarily loud. She can be quiet. But in this quiet is power. She can be affectionate, but her compassion has boundaries. She can love, but not dissolve. She can give, but only if it's not betraying herself. You start seeing this in everything. In how you talk, how you walk, how you look at people, how you look at yourself, in how you no longer ask for love because you have become love yourself. You don't chase attention because you are enough for yourself. You don't shout about your worth because no one can take it away. The world stops being a place where you must survive. It becomes a space where you can create. Relationships stop being a compromise. They become choice. Sex stops being a proof. It becomes a revelation. Work isn't a burden, but an expression. The body isn't a battlefield, but a home. You return to yourself, to your wildness, to your intuition, to your sensitivity. You stop being afraid to be different and become fully yourself, without censorship, without filter, without a role. And this is your new reality. A woman who no longer plays becomes inconvenient. She cannot be controlled, cannot be bought, cannot be persuaded to stay if she feels unloved. She cannot be deceived by words because she hears energy, feels falseness, knows who is before her. She has no time for masks because she wore her own for too long. Such a woman attracts, but not everyone. Only those ready to be real, only those unafraid of depth, only those who won't destroy her light, because they know how to shine themselves. The rest will leave, and that's okay because she no longer seeks approval. She lives her truth. You notice clarity appearing not only externally, but internally. You no longer lose yourself in others' expectations. You no longer doubt your right to feel, to desire, to say no. You can be alone and you're not afraid of it. Because solitude with yourself is better than a crowd where you aren't you. You no longer go back, because going back is a betrayal. It's oblivion again. It's silence filled with lies again. It's you in a role again. And now you've seen too much, felt, freed, to agree to a cage again. A woman who chooses herself is a woman with a new world growing inside her. Her voice is no longer about protest, but about presence. Her gaze no longer seeks permission, but affirms, I am here. I am whole. I don't ask to be. I am. You become an example without wanting to be one, simply because being yourself reflects on others. Women nearby start to hear their voices. Men nearby start seeing not just a body but a soul. Children learn to be free by looking at you. This is real transformation, where you not only figured yourself out, but changed the very fabric of your life. Without loud words, without drama, just by starting to live in harmony with yourself. Jung said that one becomes whole when they meet their shadow and unite with it. When they stop dividing themselves into good and bad and accept it all. This is maturity. This is strength. This is love, which starts inside and grows outward. Now you know. The woman you feared becoming is the true you. And with that truth, it's impossible to part. You no longer ask for permission. You no longer beg. You no longer return. You go on, whole, free, as a woman who has chosen herself. If this video resonates with you, leave this affirmation in the comments. I embrace my true self. Writing it down is a powerful step toward internal alignment. You begin to turn insight into transformation. It also shows us that our work truly matters to someone. We're already working on the next video to expand on this topic, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Wishing you the best.